Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gina and I create YouTube videos for wire wrap tutorials. I also have a small business called Gina Bean Inc. where I sell these beautiful pieces on my Etsy shop and also at small pop-up events all around South Jersey. So, welcome in. Today we are going to be working on this beautiful ring. It is made using an 8mm cabochon and gold copper-based jewelry wire. To get started, we're using our 18 gauge wire and we are cutting two pieces about 8 inches in length. The finished product of this ring turns out to be about a size 11 in US sizing, but if you are looking to make a smaller ring, you absolutely can. You can cut a little bit less wire, maybe 7.5 inches. Anyway, I have a diagram in the top left corner of this video and it shows you the pattern written out. So I like to crochet and I feel like I'm a visual learner, so I've tried to combine a written pattern or diagram with the YouTube video so you can see me making it, as well as looking in the corner and seeing the type of pattern that I'm making. That way, if my hands are in the way or slightly out of focus, you can see exactly what I'm working on. So as you're holding the wire in your hands horizontally, you're wrapping around that first bottom wire once, then wrapping it around both, then just around the top, and then you're wrapping it around both wires 2 times, and then starting that pattern over again. So it's the bottom wire, both wires, top wire, both wires, both wires. And you're going to be left with something like this. So to reach a size 11, it would be about 2 inches and 1/8 of an inch. That's about how long this weave is going to be to get that size. If you do need some additional help, there are plenty of sizing guides and charts available online so that you can see what size you may need depending on whatever size finger you have. And as always, because this part of the process is a little bit repetitive, you can always skip ahead to about 6 minutes on the timestamp, and that will take you to the next part. I never want to shorten down the videos too much or completely clip it ahead to where I'm already done, just in case if people still need this extra visual to help them understand or learn the pattern a little bit more. So it will be available. But I will quit yapping and I will catch you guys back at around the 6-minute mark. Alright, and we are back. So we are just taking our final measurement. It's about 2 inches and an eighth. And this is how the pattern is looking. So from here, we're just taking this extra weaving wire and pulling that off. You can also use your flush cutters and snip that off. We are wrapping it around the ring mandrel. Where those wires intersect, we want the weave to stop about a half a centimeter before they intersect, and that's because that space is going to be taken up by the cabochon. So when we bend these wires outward, like I'm showing here, it's going to create that space in the middle, and that is where, in this case, the cabochon, in my other rings, it was bead, but that is where that is going to sit. That'll be the front and center of the ring. And for this part, I'm not using any tools. I'm just using my fingers so that I don't accidentally scratch up the wire. But I'm also just kind of using my fingertip to round those pieces so that they flow a little bit better. You want those pieces to be sticking up and fit well together, because we are going to be wrapping a weaving wire around them to hold them in place. But you want them to be sitting well together. And then we start hammering the band just lightly. We don't want to hit it too hard and accidentally bend the ring out of shape or out of place. It kind of locks in all of the weave that you've already done. And it also strengthens the wire on the band so that it keeps the circular shape of the ring and is less likely to be bent out of shape later. For this part, I am just wrapping the weaving wire around each of those wires and then just wrapping it around both of them, maybe 3 or 4 times. That way, the first initial weave where you're wrapping it around each individual wire, and then the next 3 times where you're wrapping it around both, it keeps that secure so that it's less likely to just come out or move. It doesn't need to be a very large piece, it's mostly just holding its shape. And then you're just pulling off the excess weaving wire and doing the other side. And I also go back over with my flat nose pliers just to make sure that everything is laying flat and that no sharp edges are sticking out from where we pulled those wires from. So you will be left with this little diamond pattern here. And as you can see in the picture, I didn't put the cabochon in with the rounded side up. I put it with the rounded side down so that it fits perfectly within that diamond shape. So now for this part, we are taking the 2 opposite outer pieces. So on this one, we are taking the upper right and the lower left, whichever ones are opposite each other. And we are just following the similar curvature of the diamond pattern that we made on the bottom. And then when we go back over those other 2 remaining straight pieces, we are going to be curving them to fit with that. I'm just putting the stone in there first to see how it looks with it and how it fits with it. But basically you're just going to be following the same curve. So now that our wires are bent the way that we want them to, we're just going to slip that cabochon back in, and then we will be working on the sides. To create the sides, we are taking those 2 pieces that we have in one direction, slipping them around the band, and when we bring them back up, we're going to be finishing them off with a little swirl pattern. So it's just one single swirl, and then we're cutting it off right where the snipped edge will meet the wire. The swirl, of course, is entirely your decision. You can always choose to leave it off of your ring if you would like. I just like the symmetry of it. Having this ring with vertical height, I wanted something to give it a little bit more width. So that's why I put the swirl on there, so that size-wise, the ring is pretty symmetrical. So again, we're just taking those two wires together and we are bending them as a unit around to create that swirl. And then we do the other side so that it is even. And then you can just snip off the excess, basically where the wire overlaps on the swirl. That way when you're pinching it down, it should lay flush together. And then the other side. I am really happy with the way that this ring had turned out. I love that it is a different shape than I usually make. I usually do a lot of circular type rings, but I really love that this one has more angles to it, and it just looks really flattering when you're wearing it. And don't forget to go back over with your jewelry hammer again. I love the way this band turned out. I really love this pattern, and it's just so unique. I really love this ring. Very happy with it, and I hope you're happy with yours too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Tune in for another episode soon. Bye.